Hello people, welcome to Civic Space TV. This is Women Rise. Women Rise is a mentorship program for all women and most especially the young woman. Yes, this program encourages you to not to give up on yourself, to take up leadership spaces, to take up anything, do something in society and be an example of the young generation that is growing. We get to host different women, and these women come here to share their stories about themselves, and of course about the work that they are doing in society. And I believe many of us are really. So you are welcome to this conversation, and we are looking forward to learning more from today's episode. And today in particular, we have Miss Lydia Nsubuga. Miss Lydia is the country coordinator of Eagle Network. This is an eco-activist for governance and law enforcement. We are going to learn more about what they do in Eagle Network, and of course more about herself as an individual, as a woman. Yes, you're very welcome, Miss Lydia.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Yes, I'm okay. Thank you so much for coming through. Yeah, we are really so excited to hearing from you and of course learning more from your experience. Yes, so Lydia, to our viewers, who is Lydia? How do you describe yourself?
Thank you for the first time to say for me to be hosted in this place.
Yes.
Please know I don't take this for granted. And who is Lydia to the viewers?
Yes.
Lydia is an ordinary Ugandan.
Okay.
Female Ugandan. Yes. My names are mentioned, Lydia Nsubuga, a married woman with 3 beautiful sons.
Oh.
Yes. So that's Lydia to the viewers.
Okay.
And above all, I'm born again.
Born again.
I love the Lord.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So Lydia, before we get into what you're doing as the country coordinator of Eagle Network, we want to know about Lydia, your education background. Where does Lydia go to school to? Where is she born from? Your childhood experience growing up.
Can I correct something first?
Yes.
You make mention of country coordinator Eagle Uganda. I'm interim country coordinator.
Yeah.
Yes. But I'm getting there.
Okay, okay.
Definitely. I'm very sure. I'm very proactive and very positive.
Yes.
I know I'll get there. Lydia's background. Lydia is a Mgiso by tribe.
Oh.
Although she's married to a Muganda man.
Oh,
yes, that is
that's where that Nsubuga comes from.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. I'm Mgiso, born of Mbale. Yes, in the mountains. My educational background. I'll tell you, I have not gone through those wonderful good schools that you think about.
Yes.
I'm not one of the planned kids.
Okay.
But these days we like saying it to you, either planned kid or you're planning kid.
Yes.
So I am that planning kid. I went to humble schools with a humble background. Those schools where you'd put on the kachi as skirts and shorts comfortably. But sometimes I like referring to them as those third world schools then.
Yeah.
Because if I speak about them now,
No.
everybody will wonder, where is this school?
Where is this school?
Where can you find it? Where is it located?
Yes.
But I'm a fine and I'm a happy product of some of those schools. I went to Naguru Katali Primary School. It's just the neighborhood.
Yeah, true.
And I went to City High School for my O-levels. And I went through Kololo Senior Secondary School for my A-levels.
So your childhood was roughly in Kampala?
Yeah, born in Kampala, raised in Kampala, studied in Kampala, and eventually got married in Kampala. That's Lydia.
Okay.
Yes.
So when do you go to the mountains
when
in
do I
Bali?
go to the mountains? I'll tell you, I think it's a dream. I rarely get there.
Okay.
I've only been there on a few occasions. Probably when we have lost somebody, when we have family gatherings, yes, get to know each other. That is when I get to the mountains. Yes.
Okay. So growing up in Kampala, how was life like in Kampala?
Like any city-born kid,
Yeah.
it was a bit sophisticated. Though on the other hand, the kind of family I was brought up from, you expect it to be sophisticated, but they have to teach you the ethics of life. So we know what it means to dig. Yes.
Yeah.
So we had those moments where you have to wake up in the morning. It was a must, mandatory for everybody. Wake up as early as 5 a.m., get to the garden first.
Oh.
and then from the garden go back home.
In Naguru?
Prepare, yes.
Oh.
We were not staying in Naguru, but we were
Ah.
studying in Naguru.
Okay.
And we had to trek, okay? We would walk to the schools. Unlike the schools then.
Oh,
The
yeah.
schools then, you'd get to school as early as 8 a.m., 8:30, 9, it is okay. But right now, 6:30, your child has to be in school. It's a bit abnormal, but this is it. We have learned to embrace it.
Of course.
So that's the kind of life I grew up in. Yes.
Yeah.
Wake up early, get to the gardens, and then from the garden, prepare, go to school, and you walk to school.
You walk
on the
to
other
school
side
and
of
also back
Bugolobi.
home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Walk to school, Naguru, back home. Walk to school, City High, back home. Walk to school, Kole SS, back home. And then get to university. That's when I went to Chambogo University. Yes. And pursued my bachelor's degree in accounting and finance.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So from Chambogo University, what was your first job, or what did you want to become like?
Ah, my God. At some point, I had dreams shattered, I'll say. Because when you're growing up, there's something you want to become.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, I thought I would become that wonderful architect. That was my dream. Those were my aspirations. But with a humble background, of course, when I say sophisticated, doesn't mean that we had everything. We had those moments when we would hit the snag. There's no food, and you have to spend the night on purpose. But at least your parent is able to take you to school. So finishing university, my dream was to become an architect. And then after senior 6, I don't have the points that are going to give me architecture background. So I'm sitting with my parents, and my dad is like, maybe you can go and do secretarial studies. I'm like, that is not me. Seriously, if there's any profession I never loved is being somebody's secretary. That wasn't me. So I told him, no, that can't happen. I can't see myself behind a desk and I'm attending to somebody. And then he's like, okay, maybe you can try accounts. And accounts is because my dad has been an auditor throughout his entire life. And I kind of bought into the dream of being an accountant. And that is the journey I walked. So I'm an accountant by profession.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And then love for activism comes in.
Love for activism. Sometimes I tell people activism is inbuilt. There are things in life that we tell people you can be taught. Leadership can be mentored, leadership can be taught, and leadership is born as well. There are people who are born leaders.
Yes.
But there are people who can be mentored into leadership roles and responsibilities. But activism has to be a part of you. So growing up as a little girl, there are things I would say, the kind of background, the environment I grew up in, I think I saw a lot of in the neighborhood, a lot of battering, gender-based violence. I would see men battling their wives, yes. And I think it was in me, activism was in me. So when I was growing up, I was like, you know what, when I grow up at some point, I want to fight for such people, their rights. I wouldn't want to see any woman battered, I wouldn't want to see any woman abused. At some point, I would want to go to people's doors and do something, but I was this little, and I wouldn't do anything about it. So at some point when I was in university, I met a friend because I was doing my degree program while working. My first job is interesting.
Oh.
But it mentored me.
You did your first degree program while working?
Yeah, while working.
Oh, the experience.
I first did my diploma, still Chambogo University, and then still diploma in accounting, and then went back. So by the time I went back for my bachelor's,
you got a job.
I already had a job.
Okay.
But it was not an accounting job. It was something related, but different.
Okay.
I think it was a mentorship program. It was mentoring me into something I hated the most, becoming somebody's secretary. I think I had a very bad perspective about secretaries. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think God is like, well, I'll take you that route
so
you can learn. Not everybody is as bad as you think they are.
True.
So I still
Did you have, an experience, a bad experience with a secretary, maybe at school?
I think it is hypocrisy, a lot of hearsay, a lot of gossip when we hear people talk about secretaries. Yes, that is the kind of background I had. So I began as a secretary. Actually, I began as an office messenger. Diploma in accounting. They wanted somebody to run around for them, and I was like, yeah, I'm from campus. I don't have anything to do. I can start there, and that is where I entered.
How was the experience? What did you learn from?
It was interesting because Lydia was a quick learner.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
As an office messenger, 1 year down the road, I am mentored into being a librarian because the background was kind of a school setup. And then as a librarian, and then mentored into becoming a secretary the next year. So within a span of 2 years,
Wow.
I was already moving levels.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest change came when my immediate supervisor was resigning. And she was the administrator, she was the accountant. And they wanted somebody to replace her.
And Lydia was there.
And she's recommending somebody else she's recommending somebody else because she says I am younger. I was this thin.
Okay.
This thin.
Yeah.
Yes, that when you look at me, you didn't see any potential in the person. I was shy. The Lydia now is a better version, a revised version of the Lydia then. But the top boss, my boss was a Finnish Canadian guy. It's called Hanu. Whatever he saw in me, I think it's only God who knows. So he said, no, let's take her on. I think she can do the work.
Wow.
So I was given 1 year to prove myself.
Okay.
And 1 year when I was busy proving myself, that is when they said, I think we have the right person to take up the responsibility.
Wow.
And because I had a diploma then, they said, no, we'll push for her bachelor's. Yeah. You'll upgrade, but you're doing the work. And that's how I entered into the system.
Wow, beautiful. Okay, so back to love for activism. You see these things happening in society, and then,
Love for activism, like I told you, I was seeing this happening in the society where I grew up from. And growing up, I came still in touch with a friend, and I told them I wanted to learn martial arts. Why do I want to learn martial arts? I feel like if I find somebody battling a woman, I want to retaliate and beat them up and tell them, hey, this is wrong. A delicate place, so it is not right. Yes. So I'm realizing this is in me right from when I was a toddler. And then I think during university time, I get in touch with one of my young siblings, and I'm like, you know what, we need to get into singing. And because we are listening to so many stories of young ladies being ushered into marriage at a tender age, and they have an interesting story, young marriages. So we start writing songs, and my first song was, if I ever grow up, I want to choose my own spouse.
Okay.
So it's in me, it's growing up in me. And then the catchy moment was, I think it was in 2018, when I began a simple project. It was more of community activism, because I was doing a lot of advocacy training. I was doing a lot of HIV capacity building, moving to different communities, sensitizing people on HIV and how best they can avoid it. And in one of those missions, I was in Kasese, in the mountains, and then I came across a small community that I picked interest in. And the children were needy, kids were not going to school. I'm seeing desperate mothers. With my little pay, I said, it doesn't need anybody to help you support somebody. So I keep telling this to almost every community where I'm part of. I tell them that we have developed a lot of dependency syndrome, that we want the white man to sponsor my children. But I think as a community we can do something. You
can do something.
So I took up the responsibility. I took up 24 kids in Kasese district. And I began by taking care of their scholastic materials, and then scholastic from books to pens and pencils and uniforms. And out of the 24, I took up 3 of them. One of them was HIV positive, and I would pay their fees. And I think it was the COVID of 2020 that shattered the dream. Because I moved with them from 2018, 2019 into 2020. I had some moving to secondary school. Now I'm trying to explain where the activism starts from. Yes. But in 2019, we had an animal at home, a dog at home. I was never friendly to dogs, and so I didn't pay attention to its needs. In my family members, my sons are very attached to the dog. She was called Angel. So Angel falls sick, and everybody's looking up to you. Hey, mommy, do something. I'm like, please, that is not me. But remember, activism is still in me. The things I'm doing when I'm growing up shows there's an element of activism. But then I have an animal at home I'm not willing to take care of. So Angel died.
Oh.
Angel died, and Angel was buried. When I talk about her story, it's a bit touchy for me, and I get emotional. When she passed on, my entire family was called for weeks.
Oh.
I have never seen an animal buried like a human being. They had to dig the grave and bury the dog. But they were called for weeks and weeks. So I was like, okay, I think this wasn't right. I had to get very apologetic. And they brought in another dog while I was trying to put myself together. And but the loss of Angel, I think, brought me more closer to animals. And that is when end of 2018, my first job, I opted out because I had been there for the last 18 years. And I was like, I need another job, greener pastures. And I met a lady who connected me to Eagle Uganda now.
Okay.
Yes. And when I joined Eagle Uganda, remember, they're into activism, serious activism. And then I have those deposits of activism in me. And then the two are connected.
Yeah, the two are connected, and things
go.
are wow, so beautiful story. You know, I'm thinking of the love, the attachment your family members had to this dog. Are these stories even real? You know, we see the whites usually are the ones who are so close and attached to these animals. How is this experience? You who has been there, the family members who are this close to this dog. Yes, how is this experience? How are these animals so lovely and, you know, get attached to the humans?
Sometimes it's until you are there,
Yeah.
you're putting on these exact shoes.
Yes.
That's when you get the feel of it. Before I was there, that is where I had the negative, feelings about the dogs. But eventually, with my family attachment, I learned how to love dogs. At some point, I entered into fighting for their rights as well. Because when they brought in another dog, we spent with it, I think, how many years down the road? We just lost him, I think, around Jan this year.
This year?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
But it was old age.
Okay.
Old age. And he was a super guard dog. Dogs are man's best friend. When you treat me right, they'll treat you right.
Treat you right.
When you take care of me, they'll take care of you. So, and sometimes they will show these feelings. If you're very negative towards any animal, they'll communicate the same language. Because as you move closer to them, because you're rough, you are rude, you're always using abusive languages, just like human beings. Trust me, they'll master the art, they'll know you. So they realize when you come and this is you, they'll keep away from you, they'll keep walking away from you. But the person who shows them love is the person they're going to run to.
Wow, wow. And we Africans, we are only used to, dogs are for security. That's
Africans are aggressive people.
Yeah.
Africans are always
but I think many
at
Africans are, adapting this,
exactly.
to this.
Many have changed and they have learned the trait. You would move in many homes right now and you find dogs in people's houses.
I've seen a lady on TikTok. She actually cried, I think, for a month when she lost her pet. Wow. Okay. So Lydia, tell us, you join Eagle Network.
Yeah.
What is Eagle Network? What do we find in Eagle Network? What do you do?
Eagle. There is Eagle Uganda and there is the Eagle Network. So Eagle Uganda is part of the Eagle Network.
Okay.
So the Eagle Network is the broader picture. Okay. But Eagle, as you said, stands for Echo, Activists for Governance and Law Enforcement. So Eagle Uganda is under the Eagle Network, and the network, just like the word network is, it's different countries coming together and fighting for the same cause. So the network covers close to 9 countries. We have Cameroon, we have Senegal, we have Congo, we have Ivory Coast. Okay, so there are other countries that form the network. And what do we do at Eagle Uganda, or what do we do in the Eagle Network? It's a family. We are more into wildlife activism, and environmental activism.
Okay.
So the moment you're going against the love for animals, the moment we find you degrading the environment, the moment you are into any kind of illicit business, especially unprotected species, you are the person we are looking for. So that's what we do. We fight for the rights of animals. Okay, it's a bigger dream by our director. That is, he's called Mr. Ophir Drori. He's an Israelite. He's from Israel, but this was his dream, and he's the founder. So it cuts across the globe. It's an international organization, but we are more into fighting for the rights of the animals.
Is it in general only the wild, or any species that is an animal?
We normally focus on animals that are endangered species. But if I found any animal that is endangered, that is troubled, trust me, I'll act. I have on several occasions come across pets like cats, okay, on the streets, and they are isolated, they're hungry. Trust me, I get in touch with centers that are able to take them in.
Okay.
And some have been taken in.
So
USPA.
we have centers in Uganda.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
We do have centers in Uganda that take up these animals. There's one on East My Road. It's called USPCA. They have dogs. They have all kinds of pets in there. And then I visited another vet clinic still in I think around Kunya, and they have cats, they have dogs, they have all these animals. Stray dogs, if they don't have somebody to take care of them, and you're able to give them a call, they take them up. Yes. Oh,
beautiful work here.
And then we also fight against corruption.
Okay.
Any form of corruption, we are there. And we are also into 100% activism. So when we see there's a need for our intervention, we come in.
You come in.
For example, I met a lady in 2020 during the COVID, an old lady, and we became friends. So recently, I think it was last year, she gave me a call, and she wanted help. The daughter was selling off her land without her consent, without her permission. Such things we come in.
You also do come in.
We come in to help.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Someone might think you're only into the animal world.
That's true.
Okay. So how do you do this work? Do you have a team of people you do work with? What are some of the challenges that you face when you're doing this work?
How do we do this work? Some of the things embedded in the work are quite technical, that it is very hard for me to come and try to lay them out here for everybody to know exactly what to do. Because we have a team of people we work with, okay? And like any organization, we have departments we work with. We have the media department, we have operations department, we have investigations department. So definitely when I say investigations, you know what it means. It simply means you have people out there in the field and they're doing their work, trying to find who is doing what for us to bring them to book. Yes. Challenges in Uganda, when you talk about conservation, especially wildlife conservation, or when you talk about activism, there are so many hurdles that we keep on hitting. Sometimes it is not easy when it comes to authorities to work with, especially if it is their mandate, okay? It is not easy, but with time we are trying to solve the problems, and slowly by slowly trying to begin working together, okay? We are trying to find a common ground where we can, hey, we're on the same page, we are here for the same cause, we are fighting for the same same cause, the just cause and the rights of the animals. And with time, right now we are getting to the positive side of it, but it's not always easy. Yes. Sure. And then on the line of activism, still it gets back to the authorities. Moving things is not easy, and the level of corruption in Uganda is literally too high.
Yeah, too high.
Yes, you will move on a single case. You keep moving back and forth. It runs 1 year down the road, 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, even when you think you're pressing the right buttons. But I am telling you, if somebody is influential, they can't do anything. It's the biggest hurdle, corruption in Uganda, and having the authorities come on the same page with you. You look at things differently. Yeah.
What are some of the opportunities, that have come with your job? the job that you're doing, and of course some of the contributions that you have, you as an individual, put out there to this network?
What contributions have I put out there? Value addition, the network, one. We have been able to have some operations, just for you to know. Yes. And we had some operations under my regime as a leader in the system. Because remember, even when I joined Eagle Uganda, I joined as an accountant. And then a few months down the road, you're appointed into administration. And then a year down the road, you're appointed into becoming an assistant coordinator. And then after how many years, bang, it was last year in July. That's when I was nominated into interim coordination.
Wow.
But the benefits that we have been able to, one, network, and we're trying to put up a strong network, especially with the right persons in the government offices, government agencies, for us to be able to streamline the nature of work that we are doing. And then two, for the years I have been in Eagle Uganda, we've been able to come up with a good team, okay? Of course, people come and go, depending on what their objectives are and what are their bigger goals. I'll bring you on board, but you have bigger goals or bigger dreams. And sometimes it's another challenge. Sometimes when people are not open in the line of their work, so you end up losing even good people.
Yeah, true.
Yes. But we are trying to build a good team still to come up with a good team. But the biggest achievement we've had is the operations. I think we have had 3 operations during my time of service and during my tenure as a leader in Uganda.
Wow. Yeah. And as a leader, what makes you so good at what you do?
You are not so good until somebody tells you you are good at what you do. That's what I believe, yes.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you are busy trying to give your best. You are busy trying to prove to the world or to prove to whoever you are working with that this is me. But I keep telling myself, and I always get back to this common ground. I tell myself, I am me. And I have to do things as Lydia, not as anybody else.
Any other person.
If anybody has, if there's something I have to learn from you, then I'll look at what you have and I'll tell myself, Lord, I want to become better than her. So I'll come close to you, but because I want to learn. So what makes me better is I try not to replicate anybody's work. I try to be me as Lydia.
Yeah.
Lydia has weaknesses. Lydia has shortcomings like any human being.
True, yeah.
But when I realize those shortcomings, I do not get back into a corner and begin to mourn or grumble or cry over them. No. When I realize these are shortcomings, these are weaknesses, then I know I need to work on them. I have things to be done. I have work that has to be done. So it simply means that when I wake up in the morning, I don't look at the negative part of my life, no. I look at the positive side of me and I'm like, okay, this is me. I'm not going to replicate you. I do not copy people. I want to produce me out there. Let people learn from me instead of me busy trying to copy someone else.
True. And as a leader, what is a day like in your life as a leader, and of course connected to the work you're doing?
As a leader, it's very hectic. When I talk about being hectic, it cuts across. There is being hectic in a different organization, and the kind of work
that you're doing
is different. But the kind of work that we do, activism, and you're managing adults, people with different views, different mindset, different ideologies, and the work is demanding. Because at the end of the day, the only proof we know that you are performing as Lydia is when we have output. And what is the output? Those are the operations for us. Okay? So it's not easy. It's always difficult and a hassle. But at the end of the day, it gets back to what you believe in. I have had stressing moments, and I mean stressing moments. There are times when you need to deliver and you don't have what to deliver. And the pressure is you need to deliver.
You need to deliver.
Some points, I have had moments when I have had to walk out of office and I'm like, you know what, I'm taking a break for now. Walk out of office and then come back later after I feel I am refreshed, and then get back to the drawing board and think afresh. So it is not always easy, especially when I have come from a background of leadership. I have walked through a different trends of leadership. I have worked with a different kind of leaders. I have interacted with, I'll tell you, all different capacities, people in their different capacities. And I have worked with people who are busy pushing you and putting you in pressure. So when I walk into Eagle Uganda, it was not new. It is something I had lived and worked in. I have had these experiences. I have seen tough leaders. So it became like a stepping stone for me. But being a leader in Eagle Uganda is something that I have learned to understand people better, and to understand the people you're leading as well. And it's more about people management.
People management.
That is the best way to go.
Yeah.
If you cannot manage the people you're working with,
yeah, true.
if you cannot understand when they're going through challenges, if you cannot understand when somebody needs your attention, you're going to lose it. So I try to build my leadership around people.
Around people.
Yeah, someone say that talk to the people on your way up the ladders, because you're going to meet them on your way down.
Ah, true.
So it matters as you're moving upstairs. Make sure that everybody you're finding on these stairs up, you interact with them in the best way you can.
Yeah.
Otherwise, on your way down, you'll need them,
still
and
need them.
they're going to give you their backs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, important for you young leaders. And in general, this is a mentorship program for a young woman. Yes, as a leader, you've been there. What should someone focus on? Someone who wants to be a leadership. What are the basics someone can look at?
One, what are your dreams? What do you want to become? It is very important. Because if you don't know what you want to become, it is going to be very easy for you to be swayed off the track. Okay? True leaders have dreams. They have a focus. They have aspirations. They have things they want to touch. There are things they want to become. If you lose the focus, you can't get there. I'll give you an example. When I joined Eagle Uganda in 2019, I was chanced to meet one of the directors. He came to Uganda, and then in that meeting he asked me, what do you want to become in Eagle Uganda? Where do you see yourself after this number of years? And what is the future like? I was very open. I told him that, well, I see myself growing up in Eagle Uganda, but I don't see myself dying in Eagle Uganda.
Okay.
So in other words, I have a dream, but that dream is limited.
Yeah.
I'm going to work for you, but definitely
I'll have to go.
There is an exit point. So in other words, I'm telling you, I need to mentor people as well. So in leadership, have dreams, have aspirations, plan and focus. But that journey requires you to mentor people to become like you. Do not be a leader who is independent, okay? These days we like using the word self-contained.
Yeah.
Okay? Do not be self-contained that you want to be the sole person doing everything. That everything revolves around you. And then you're not being a genuine leader. Genuine leadership requires you to replicate yourself in so many people as much as you can. You leave a legacy. People like saying that it is always good to grow people instead of growing rice. So my major focus in leadership is growing people. Yeah.
Wow. A very beautiful one here for every leader. And of course, you know, these days women, supporting women. You mentioned you want to, to grow these leaders. How best can a woman in your position support a young woman who wants to grow into leadership, into anything in life?
The biggest challenge we have is when people see where you are, sometimes there's a tendency of detachment. Okay? They either fear you, or just like people like saying that, you cannot marry an educated, an elite woman. Probably if she's educated and she has the money, then you cannot manage her as a husband. I tell them it is wrong. It is until you get closer to somebody is when you begin to appreciate them and understand them. So it is good when when you find somebody and you realize they have something valuable in them, talk to them. Look for them. Trust me, people have time for people out there, but people keep detaching themselves. Those that I've been able to talk to, I have a community of women that I talk to, okay? And when we meet, there are so many things that we do. At some point, I came to a point of teaching people how to make powder, flour.
Okay.
from jackfruit seeds.
Oh.
It's a delicacy. And these are things people don't know. But to mentor people, to grow people, people have to be in line with you. They have to be close to you. It is very hard for me to wake up out of the blue and look for you
to do something. Yeah.
It is very hard for me to step out and look for people, but if somebody is close to you, you're able to see who they are, their abilities, their potentials, the good and bad. And when I see the bad, it doesn't mean that I need to get rid of you. I simply need to work with you to make sure that we work on the bad and you become better. And when I see the good in you, I need to be able to appraise you. Now, that is the biggest challenge we have in leadership. That when people see somebody who is coming up and they're growing up to become probably like them, we busy fight them off. It shouldn't be the scenario. The best would be, I'll give you my hand and raise you up. And let's work together the journey. And then when I realize that you are there, you are better, I can let you be.
Wow. Wow.
But people fight it.
Why is this? Are we too greedy? Are we too
insecure?
I don't know.
People are too insecure. For example, when it comes to jobs, people are very insecure. When they see somebody coming up, they look at you as a competitor. I see this almost every day.
Yeah, true.
Yes, when you talk to people and people open up about themselves, you realize there's a lot that is going on the wrong direction.
And you mentioned in the beginning you're a mother. How do you manage? How do you juggle through motherhood and then work, activism?
Trust me, I expected that question. I did expect it. How do I juggle through?
Yes.
I'm a wife. I am a mother. At some point, I offer teaching services to different organizations that require of the services. I'm an employee. I'm an entrepreneur. There's a lot on the table.
Yes.
Yes.
As a woman,
into activism. Yes, I'm into activism. I literally do charity work every 2 years. I donate to different communities depending on where the need is. I don't do it as an organization. I do it as Lydia, who has the passion for communities. So that is that brings in the element of community activism. Yes. So how am I able to juggle through all these things? At the end of the day, I plan.
Planning.
It's very important.
Yeah.
If you can't plan your day, then your day is going to be messed up. Okay. I wake up in the weird hours of the night. Okay, and I'm planning. And sometimes when I have things that are not adding up and I realize I am not meeting my targets or my achievements for the planned day or week, I have to go some extra hours in the night to make things or to get things done and moving. It's not always easy. People have a saying that if you want to get things done, find somebody who is very busy and give it to them. I tell them it is wrong. If you find somebody who is very busy, it simply means their plate is full. So if you're going to push them a little bit extra, you're going to break their back. Yes. So I am more comfortable when I know what I want to do and I know how I'm going to do it, and I want to give you my plan on how I'm going to get things done. I like waking up and planning my day. It's something that I have seen as well in Eagle Uganda. People plan their day. When you come in the office in the morning, plan your day. You don't wake up to a useless day. No, plan your day. Come to office.
This is what I'm going to do.
I'm going to do A, B, C, D, Z. And I have achieved A, B, C, D, Z. So it is very important for people to plan. Plan your day, plan your schedules. Okay. And then it's not a must that you're going to achieve everything in life.
Yeah, true.
There are things that will not come your way, even when you have planned for them. 2024 came, 2024 left and went. But there are goals we never achieved. As a person, as a woman, there are things I didn't achieve. But it doesn't mean that I should keep crying over that. No. I'll pick myself up, put myself together, and say 2025 is ahead of me. I have other dreams to conquer and achieve. So I get there and then plan afresh. Whatever I missed out last year, I'll bring it back on table again. If I'm able to work at it better, far better. Planning is important. Focusing is also important. It's good to know what you want and where you want to go. Where do I want to be in this number of years? Where do I want to be 1 year down the road? You need to focus on your vision and on your dreams. It is one thing to have the visions, but if you can't dream, I keep telling people, if you don't have dreams, you're a dead person. Because everybody should have something that is motivating you every day and giving you reason to wake up in the morning to go and work. Okay? And even if I am waking up every morning to go and work, there should be something that is motivating you to plan for your retirement. I tell people, do not wait until you're 80 years or until somebody is telling you, please, the clock is tick-tocking, you should be retiring. No, plan much earlier. Okay? It gets back to planning, focusing on your dreams, and dream big. I tell people, dream big. Do not dream small. Small dreams...
Do not limit yourself.
Small dreams will end here.
Yeah.
Bigger dreams will take you a lifetime. Okay? Small dreams are limited. Bigger dreams open you to bigger visions, bigger enlightenment, bigger planning.
So even when you're not able to achieve this dreaming...
please dream. Dream
Keep
and
dreaming.
Keep dreaming and take note of the dreams.
Yeah.
Don't dream and you fail to capture the dreams. Dream, think of something, put it down. I tell people, write everything you need to. Get a book, get a notebook, write things down. These are dreams that are coming. You can easily forget because you're a human being, okay?
Yeah.
But if you don't write, it will go, it will pass. There are dreams I have not achieved up to now, but I'm very sure. Give me a few years down the road, I have to.
You will. Wow. You know, Lydia, every time you speak, I'm thinking of something else, I'm learning something. And you talked of retirement. How best can one plan for retirement?
How best can one plan for retirement?
You know, whenever you speak, there's something new that comes in, and then I feel there's a lot we need to listen in from you.
It starts with who you are now.
Yes.
There's a favorite quote I like referring to. The gentleman is called Roosevelt. He says, do what you can with what you have where you are. These are inspirational quotes.
Yes.
Do what you can
with what you have.
With what you have and where you are. That is the best way to start planning for your retirement.
Okay.
If you're going to wait for that moment when you're going to hit a jackpot, it is not going to come. The jackpot, it will never come.
True, true.
At some point, I passed via Kololo airstrip some years ago. There was this game, was it lottery or lotto, something of the sort. People have to buy tickets and scratch to win something. And then they were told there's a hidden treasure around the airstrip. And then I went and I looked at people trying to find this wealth that is going to make them rich for the rest of their lives. I said, this can't happen. Dreams are made, okay? You build your dreams, you build your career. Same applies to retirement. You start working for it now and planning for it earlier, much earlier. I don't know how everybody plans to retire, but that picture of retirement that somebody thinks about, it's your exact picture of what you want to be in your old age. So, and I tell people, when you plan for retirement, it's not about you having amassed a lot of wealth around you and you're sleeping on the beach and you have everything cozy around you. No, I keep telling God, I don't want to be so rich that I'm going to become useless or I'm going to become peaceless. But give me what is enough for me, take care of my people, and to be a blessing to people out there who need your help, oh God. For me, that is enough. So if I can get there.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Beautiful conversation here with Lydia. A lot to learn from, of course, as she shares her experience and work. So Lydia, as we draw to the end of this conversation,
Yes,
I want us to, you take us to your community work you're doing as Lydia, as an individual. What is the best experience or the best moment you have felt, while doing this kind of work? Or you have gotten this moment, a family has appreciated a lot, and you feel, yes, I've really done this and it has gone the right way.
I think the best moment is when I put a smile on somebody's face. I work with different people. I just wake up in the morning, and if I know this year I'm going to do any kind of community outreaches, I identify places. I have been to Mbale, okay, during the landslide moment. I have been to another part I have been to Kasese, when that river, what is that river? That comes from Chirembe mines, the mountains, okay? I have been there. I have also been to another part of Western Uganda, where there was an overflow, the river. So when I put a smile on somebody's face, for me it is important. I also work with pastors. The pastors I have worked with, for example, in Chegegwa. And we reach out to communities, people don't have probably clothes, very old community of old people, elderly people. And when you're giving somebody a blanket and you're giving them a coat to put on during the cold moments in the night, and you're giving them probably a 10 kg of flour for them to eat, and they're blessing you and they're praying all these blessings over you.
Wow.
For me, that is where I derive my satisfaction.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
That is enough for me. I tell God, when you do that, it's enough for me.
Wow. Wow. And thank you so much for blessing many people out there. And then back to Eagle Network Uganda as we come to the end of this conversation.
Yes, please.
Contributions and opportunities for our tourism sector. You're doing work in line with this. Yes.
Contributions towards tourism sector.
Yes.
Ideally, when we are preventing trafficking,
yeah.
that's the biggest contribution we are doing as well. And then once in a while we have team outreaches. We have our team members getting out there and we are supporting financially. Last year, was it last year? Yes. We were at UEC and we had some donations done as well.
Wow.
Tourism sector.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we do not only stop at protecting wildlife, but if there is need for us to chip in and give support in one way or the other, we do it. If an organization called us, for example, and they're like, we are stuck with this animal, we are stuck probably with, we have a prisoner arrested, somebody arrested in wildlife, okay, in the line of wildlife, and we need them transported probably to where they're supposed to go, we'll still chip in.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Beautiful. And maybe a word to the Ugandans. How well can we, love and embrace our animals, the wildlife, and of course, in addition to the environment?
These days, there's a term that they like using, coexistence.
Yes.
It is until you learn what you have and appreciate what you understand the value of what you have. I got an opportunity and interacted with somebody from, was it NBS Media, NBS Television, and they're wondering, okay? I mean, at the end of the day, people need to understand the value that is in the animals. The biggest challenge is that even those around the national parks are the ones who are actually doing the greatest damage to the parks. So a lot of sensitization is being done, community sensitization. Though at Eagle Uganda we don't do that.
Okay.
But we encourage. We can work. If somebody came up and they have the dream, it's okay. We can power it up and we sensitize people. But Ugandans out there need to please know, most of the zoos that we have, most of the national parks that we have, most of anything in the line of conservation, both eco and wildlife, Ugandans are catching up.
Yeah.
You can get to a national park and you find Ugandans who have come to check on the animals and visit. Initially, it wasn't the case.
Yeah, true.
So this simply tells you that they are catching up. I have been to countries where I'm told the nationals are down to earth. Kenya, for example, even asking for an animal, somebody will tell you, no, we don't do that. You'll be arrested. So people are patriotic about the animals right from the least person. So it is something we need to inculcate in us as Ugandans. We need to get patriotic about the animals that are around us. The animals in the parks, even when they come out of the parks. There's a story that went viral where an elephant was knocked in the park and people came and they took the meat. They enjoyed it. I'm like, seriously? If I was there, I would first look at one, is it still okay?
Yeah.
Two, is it breathing? Okay? If it is still breathing and there's a bit of heartbeat, trust me, I'd want to get the authorities, rush it for medical attention. But when people see it dead, lying, even if it still has some life in it, but then they're looking at a meal, something to put on their plate. So out there as Ugandans, we need to change our attitude towards these animals. The same way we want to live is the same way they need to live.
also need to live.
I am doing poetry. Now that takes you back to,
Yeah.
yes,
Of course, I
activism.
saw
Yes.
yeah, one that you wrote, a poem
There's
about
one that I put on
Tears of
media.
the Wild.
Yes, Tears of the Wild.
Yeah.
But I also have others I have written. Okay, for example, My Home, My Cage. Yes, I Need My Freedom. These are things I'm putting up together, and I'm hoping I'll come to a point of having a storybook, okay, out there for people to read.
Yeah, the writing that you're doing, have you thought of any other plan, you know, to to bring all this out
Yes.
to the people so that we know, we get to know
Yes,
about
yes.
this? Yes.
Yes. Hopefully, when I have enough pages I need, I was looking at a particular size of a printout, but I am willing to go the extra mile for it. When that moment comes, definitely I'm going to have things published.
Wow.
And they're going to be out in the media, but they're going to be focusing more on the environment,
Environment, yes.
conservation, wildlife, and the environment as well. Yes.
And we need this right from the young one, the
Definitely.
little ones, yeah.
They're going to be in schools.
Yes.
Right from kindergarten, secondary, people are going to be able to read them and access them.
Wow, Tears of the World. It's a beautiful poem. Yeah, I read it. And so, any advice to the young woman with your experience in leadership, with how you're doing your work? Advice to the young woman who is watching us.
Wow. Allow me to quote a scripture right now.
Yes.
I told you I'm born again. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1, talks about everything, okay? There's a season and there's a time under the sun. So everything has its own timing, under the sun. Sometimes we are too quick and we want to achieve so many things within a shortest period of time. I want to tell the young ladies out there, the young women out there, if you're a woman, I want to tell this to you. Things take time to become who you are. Things take time to mature. Dreams and aspirations take time. Things that we achieve and are quick to get are very brittle. As easily, as fast as they come, as fast as you lose them. So please take time to build your careers. Take time to build your dreams. Take time to mentor yourself as well. If you want to get somewhere, make time off and mentor yourself. Some things are not going to come easily.
Yeah.
Some dreams are not going to be achieved that easily. You're going to meet hurdles, but even when you meet hurdles, there's no point of giving up.
Don't give up.
There is always light at the end of the tunnel. So the moment you realize, the moment I learned that everything has its own timing under the sun, I stopped chasing people and their dreams. I opted to chase my dream in my time, which is God's timing.
Yes, wow.
That's
so
the best
beautiful.
way to go in life.
Yeah, very beautiful. And your last remarks, maybe anything more you want to share about your work, Eagle Network Uganda, and of course yourself.
Out there, when you step out on the waters, sometimes things are not easy. In the line of activism, when I'm doing it, trust me, I'm very passionate about it.
Yes.
When you find me in the line of action, I'm very passionate about what I do. So my last remark is, it's good for people to be passionate about what they do. How I wish everybody would get into activism. That is my dream. If we are going to make this world a better place, you need somebody to be doing something. We should stop looking at things and assume that somebody is going to take care of that.
Yeah.
I think it is the biggest problem we are having today. You walk on the street and you find somebody has been knocked down by probably a speeding border or a speeding car, and nobody seems to care.
Pass by.
People just pass by.
Yeah.
The spirit of activism, the spirit of Ubuntu, humanity, the love for people, you wonder where it has disappeared to. At some point, I think it was last year, I was traveling, and I came on the road, Masaka Road. I found an accident, and I took the initiative. Everybody is watching. Oh my God! But people
are getting their phones, recording.
People are getting their phones and they're recording the crime scene. People are bleeding. People are crying. It was a head-on collision, 2 taxis. Then I was like, seriously, who does this? I am think of the people who are hurt, who are injured, and do whatever you need to do. If it's possible, rush them to the nearest clinic for them to get a service. If you're not able to do that, what I did was I got my phone and I called police, the nearest police station. And I told them that there's an accident on this road. People are badly injured and they need to be helped. And I'm very sure police had to come into action to help. Everybody was minding their own business. You're capturing a woman who is bleeding and she's crying. You're capturing a baby. It's terrible. That Ubuntu is not there anymore. So my only request and prayer is, can we get back to being humans?
What do you think has happened to? Is it the generation?
Is it a generation? I wouldn't say it is a generation, but there's a lot we have done as well as people, as human beings. When there is a drift, into something, there is something that is causing the drift. I talked to a gentleman some time back about if you had a challenge or you found somebody in trouble and they're hurt, would you go to police and report? And the very first remark was, no way, I wouldn't.
Oh.
And the question is, why wouldn't you go and do it? Because one, I'll be taken in as the first suspect. I'm like, wait a minute. So if there's a drift or a change of something in something, the question is, what is causing this? So we need to address the cause before we think of pointing fingers or is it a generation? And that is the best way to address issues. What is causing the drift in things? If people are changing, why are these people changing? Is it technology? I don't think it is technology. If I'm able to get my phone and call the right persons to come and address the problem, you should be able to do it as well. But some people, probably they have had terrible experiences having helped somebody and they want to hold on that forever. No. Life has to move on.
Wow, as I mentioned, when Lydia speaks, you don't want her to finish. But I hope we can follow up with her because she has a lot of knowledge that she brings out when she speaks. I hope you, of the viewers, have picked something from her experience, from her story, and leave a comment. How have you liked the episode? And if you want to hear more from Lydia, please tell us so that we can look for her and she gives us these inspirational talks. Yes, thank you so much to the people behind the cameras. You've said your last remarks? Yes. See you next week. Bye.